Now 250,000. Now, but to get 275. High, but to get 275. 3. Now 300,000. Now 3 1/4. 325. High, but to get 3 1/4. But to get 325. Now half. Now, but to get 300. And hello from Dallas, Texas, and Lincoln Center at the intersection of the LBJ Freeway and the Dallas North Tollway. We welcome you to the Mike McGavel Jones Show, and we have a very interesting show today. I'm pleased and excited to have a good friend in the real estate sector, Richard Key, who is with the United Country Real Estate, heart of Texoma Realtors. And good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
You're all branded out. You look like you're ready to go to work.
I'm ready to go. I'm always ready to go to work.
You are. You're always, and you always have a great demeanor.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's true. I mean, I'm true. And that doesn't happen with everybody. You know, not everybody's fired up and ready to go anywhere.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't looking too forward to driving into Dallas, Texas this morning, but, you got to do what you got to do.
Well,
so.
and it's 100 degrees outside, and it's a Monday.
It is.
Yeah. Well, let's. We've got several things we want to talk about, but as per usual, I like to talk about the person that has made the drive, and so you were born in Big Spring, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And what year was that?
I was born in 1982.
82.
In Big Spring.
Yeah.
To my dad, Dr. John Key, and Sherry Key, and Sherry, my mom, is our broker for our office. So
you're in the real estate business.
Partially.
Well, I want to talk about a little bit about your childhood growing up.
Okay.
Because I think when people talk about their childhood, it says a lot about their environment, how they grew up, what's important to them, and so you were born in Big Spring. So what was Big Spring like when you were growing up? What was that like?
It was a lot better than it is today, I think. But that's just a lot of oil field things going on there right now. But I'm the only child, so a lot of people go, "Oh, you're the only child, so you got what you want." No, I didn't, to a point. Yeah. So, anyways, I graduated high school there, played football 7th, 8th grade, and a little bit my freshman year, and decided to quit football and go to the golf team, something I could use the rest of my life. And that was a lot better because, Friday nights I wasn't sitting on a sweaty bus. I was up, in the stands with all the others and everything.
Yeah.
But I was very involved in high school, always been involved in Boy Scouts, still am to this day. Scoutmaster of the troop in Archer City, Texas, and also climbing director for the Northwest Texas Council. But I was also climbing director at Buffalo Trail Council growing up. And I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm about the 13th Eagle Scout in my family.
Yeah.
Last one of the second generation. I was in numerous clubs and things in high school.
You were a networker.
I was.
Yeah.
Started out early.
You were working the room even if there was no room.
That's right.
What did your dad do?
My dad just retired 43 years as a dentist.
Really?
So, yes. Retired last year, and now he's one of 10 Texas Game Warden chaplains.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. Interesting. And so, growing up, did your mom work?
She did. She was a school teacher at first, and then when I was born, she quit that, and then was a homemaker, and then she got her real estate license and so on, and went up and got her broker license. Ended up opening a United Country office there in Big Spring. Mm-hmm. So she's had that office for about 15 years now. Yeah,
she's been very well known, very well respected.
Yes, sir. She grew up in Big Spring too. So
yeah, my grandfather and our family actually lived in Big Spring at one time. Of course, it was back in the '60s, and that was back during the back in the oil field. He was in the oil field, and a big part of that, Wichita Falls, Archer City, Big Spring.
Right.
You name a place out in West Texas, they probably were there for about an hour or two.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But I've seen a lot of pictures from Big Spring before.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a prison there too.
There's actually 5.
5 prisons.
There's 4 private and 1 federal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were like the epicenter for criminals.
We're one of them.
Well, one thing about it, when they get out, they've got to go live somewhere. So.
Yes, sir.
So your mother specialized in residential sales.
Correct.
Okay. Did she do anything else at that time?
Just a little bit of commercial. There's not a whole lot of commercial industry there in Big Spring at that time. But her office is doing a lot more farm and ranch and commercial out and around Big Spring. With the way Big Spring is going with Midland, Odessa, they're really growing.
Are they?
So
okay. What's the population of Big Spring?
I can't honestly remember. Last time I was there was probably about 30,000. I think
that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. For kind of in that area.
Yes, sir.
So so you go. You're very involved in scouting. You're playing on the golf team. You got all that stuff going on. Since then, when you went to college?
Yes, sir. I graduated junior college at New Mexico Military Institute. Went there originally prepping for the Air Force Academy. That's what I wanted to do at that time. And I got out there, decided that wasn't the route that I needed to go, that I felt called to, and started taking criminal justice classes there, and fell in love with that. Graduated Angelo State University in 2008 with a Master of Arts in Criminal Justice and a minor in Finance Real Estate.
Yeah.
And once I graduated there, I knew what I wanted to do, and it was become a real estate agent and be a Texas Game Warden. So
that's a great combination.
And I am both.
And you are both. So you graduate and you get out of school, and how you knew kind of what you wanted to do. Tell me the process of how you. I know how the real estate thing goes,
right.
And I think most people do. And you'd taken your classes and all that stuff,
right?
When did you get your real estate license?
I got my real estate license in 2008.
2008.
Yes, sir.
And so tell me about your I was going to say tell me about your criminal history. No, just how did you get into the law enforcement side, and really kind of how did that take place?
I've always liked criminal justice and took a bunch of classes in high school and college, and I decided that's what I wanted to do. As far as being a law enforcement officer, I like being in the outdoors. I've always been hunting and fishing ever since growing up. I like that. And so you put the two together, you get a Texas Game Warden. That's how I came up with that. And process started very early on in college, and riding along with game wardens and getting my name out there with them and things like that. So
you got to ride along.
Yes.
Kind of a buddy program.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so how long did that go on?
I rode along for about 3 years before I was accepted into the academy.
So you apply for the academy.
Applied for the academy. It's a long process. You have an interview, background check, physical fitness test, and then if you get it, you get a conditional job offer if they accept you. And then from there, you have a medical and psychological evaluation. And
that knocks me out right there.
Right. If you taking that test, if you weren't crazy beforehand, you definitely thought you were crazy afterwards. So, and then once accepted, then it's a 7-month long academy. We're the longest law enforcement academy in the state of Texas.
Really?
And just because we have. Every police officer has that thick a book they have to know. Well, we have 2 more that we have to know with all the wildlife laws and everything. So ours takes considerably longer. And then the day you graduate, they say, "Here's your pickup and have fun." So
see ya.
See ya.
So when they give you your territory, so what year did you apply?
I applied twice. I didn't get in on the first time. The second time was 2009. And I got in and started the academy in January of 2010.
So both of your careers coincided pretty much together.
Yes, sir.
So it's like you wake up one day, you need a job, and then all of a sudden you have 2 jobs.
Yes, sir.
So where is the academy?
Academy is in Hamilton County, Texas.
Hamilton County, Texas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Down just north of Star, out in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Wow. See, that's something I didn't know. I think most people automatically, when they think law enforcement, they automatically think either state troopers or whatever, and they think Austin. Austin is always the thing that crosses your mind.
Right, and it was in Austin. I was the second class in Hamilton when we built facilities there, but it was in Austin, and the facilities now are much better than what they were when they were in Austin.
Was the idea of moving out there to be more into the rural area and
more in the rural area, and it was we had the space to basically Parks and Wildlife could create what they wanted to out there.
So your curriculum basically was almost like real life in a lot of situations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I think most people don't know what goes into it. I know there's a TV show or there's a reality show out there right now where they're following the Parks and Wildlife guys, and they're, I don't know, it's crazy. Have you watched this?
Oh, I have.
Yeah. I can't even remember what the name of it is, but it's captivating.
Yes, sir.
Because you're watching these guys, people being sneaky, and then you see the wildlife guys like you,
right?
Catching these people, and usually just in a blatant lie,
right?
I've already got footage of them.
And usually it's we already know the answer before we ask it,
of course, to
the question, and it's just you just get people that just sit there and lie to you all day long, and it's like, come on,
wrong answer,
right?
So tell me, you become you become a Texas Parks and Wildlife. What do they call you?
Game warden.
You're the game warden, and so see, that shows you I've never been arrested by a game warden. So,
well, you want to? I brought some handcuffs with me. So
no, maybe later. So what's the first when you first get your job and they give you a location? How do they give you a location? How do they decide? Lowest man on the totem pole?
I still to this day do not know how they decide. I mean, I think they just throw everything up in the air and just say, okay, the first county on the list is this, and pick your name out, and
And so you get Archer County.
I got stationed Archer County.
Yeah, and you and I talked earlier, and we've talked previously, and of course my mother went to high school. She graduated high school in Archer City.
Yes, sir.
And of course that's a thriving metropolis.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So huge, 1,800 people.
Yeah, and it probably wasn't quite that big when she was growing up. Although it might have been. It might have been a little more vital back then.
Yes, sir.
And of course the local. The most famous person in the town is Larry McMurtry.
Correct.
The writer and the fellow with Lonesome Dove. And
yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
And I know the town. I went back in the 70s because that was the town that was based. In fact, his book, The Last Picture Show.
Right.
And have you seen The Last Picture Show?
I have seen The Last Picture Show in Texasville. So,
have you? So
in fact, they had a showing this past weekend, I think, at the Royal Theater of Texasville.
Really?
So
really. Well, when I went back, it was probably in the early, maybe 71, 73, maybe, I don't know. I went back to just see it because I'd seen the movie. The funny thing for me was my mother had her yearbook, and when the movie came out, we were watching the movie, and she had her yearbook out, and she was pointing at who everybody was.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So she had everybody.
Right.
Yeah, she had them all tagged. I thought that was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
So I had to go back, but at that time, even though they had done the movie and it had the facade and all that, it had been in disrepair for some time.
Right.
Probably 4 or 5 years, and it was falling down.
Right.
And they had a resurgence now, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Rebuilt it.
Well, they still have the box office, and the actual theater itself is, was caught on fire. So, but they have like an event center right next to it, and you have to go through the box office. They call it the Royal Theater. And they have another theater, so they have the Texas Opry and a bunch of concerts. I think they've had a couple of country music singers come in through there last couple of years and everything. So it's a really neat place to go.
That's cool. That's cool. So now you don't live in Archer City.
I don't live in Archer City. I live out in the county.
Yeah. And then your mom decided to open a second office?
She did. I married my wife Cheyenne in 2014, and she was working at a grocery store there as their concierge. And once after we got married, she decided to get her real estate license, and my mother opened us up United Country Heart of Texoma Realtors. Her office in Big Springs, Heart of the City Realtors. So kind of keep the thing going there.
Keep the theme going.
And Cheyenne started in 2016 selling real estate, and her mother moved from San Angelo to Wichita Falls, and she's our office administrator. So it's a big family business with us, and we have 2 other agents in the office. One she's been at my mom's office also in Big Spring, Tracy Ryan, and then we have another agent, Linnell Kruger, that are both in the office. So
in Wichita Falls, of course, that's where I was born.
Right.
What is there a specialty that you guys do? I know that I know what you're interested in.
Right. I do all the farm and ranch and land. Cheyenne does mainly the residential. Linnell does residential, and Tracy does commercial, residential, and we started property management.
Oh, really?
There, and Tracy's doing our property management stuff.
Mm-hmm. So. What do you see? I'm looking at this on multiple levels because, as you know, I've been with United Country for about 13 years,
right? Almost
14 years. What do you see as the biggest challenge in real estate right now?
Right now, at least for us in Wichita, is brand recognition. We have a lot of local real estate agencies that have been there for a long time in Wichita Falls. So the brand, getting our brand out is probably the most challenging of them all.
Now in Big Spring, she's been there forever.
She's been there 15 years, and she only has 2 or 3 other real estate agents to compete with, whereas we're competing with about 20. So they're in Wichita Falls.
So I know you are into farm and ranch and just land. What do you see the biggest challenge there?
Probably just getting landowners to take the right price for their place.
Yeah. Just being
honestly,
just
being realistic.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, if it's yours, it's the best.
Right.
If it's mine is the best.
And everybody has their own opinion on what it's worth. I mean, you might have a seller that thinks it's worth this, and I think it's worth this, and the buyer is like, no, it's worth this. And I mean, you got 3 different prices. And so as a real estate agent, your job is to provide enough information to the seller to make the best possible decision on what the price should be. So.
You spend a lot of time doing comps and trying to figure out the advantages on the property, what the attributes are that make it special.
Yes, sir.
What's the key attribute or more than one on land? And let's be more specific to, let's say, hunting land or having a ranch. What do you think the number one thing is you need?
I think pictures of wildlife and especially on hunting and recreational property, that's where especially land up in Wichita Falls area is more geared towards, and because it's got a totally different value for agricultural value. And so you have a farmer that's looking at it from an ag value. It all kind of depends on what your customer is and what he's looking for. So as far as a recreational hunting property, you're wanting to look for food sources, food plots, water, an abundance of wildlife. So
water. Yeah. Water. Everybody likes water.
Yes.
And as you well know, in Texas, northwest Texas, kind of north central where we're from, Wichita Falls down to Abilene, we get into some pretty tough droughts, and they could be called a drought.
Right.
Yeah, it's a strong drought. Is a drought. We may have just coined something.
Right.
There'll be somebody buying that domain right now.
I'm already claiming rights to that. So.
And we're going to talk about some specific properties that you're working on right now. Let's talk about United Country.
Okay.
United Country Real Estate, and as you know, roughly, and I use approximates. You can't be exact every day because things change, plus and minus, whatever. But we have roughly 500 offices in rural America. We're the largest land source in the country. We have franchises. These are franchise offices, independently owned offices all across the United States, from California to New York, literally. In fact, we just added a new office in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, wow.
A United Country office in Buffalo, New York, and they're good friends of mine. I met them because they've been in the brokerage business, but they also would get real estate.
Right.
And they've been working with a United Country office, and they just called me the other day and said, "Hey, by the way, you can welcome us aboard because we are now a part of United Country," and that was pretty cool.
That's
to get
cool.
that phone call.
Yes,
and
sir.
I've been up there and looked at some auctions with them. So
Right.
yeah, so we welcome them aboard if they happen to be watching today. What do you think the greatest thing about United Country is?
I think the greatest thing about United Country is the brand that we have. We are the oldest continuous real estate agency in the world, and I think that's just great. Our specialty is farm and ranch and rural properties, and with all of our SPGs and leads and everything that we get, it just sets us so much further apart than anybody else.
Okay, for those who don't know what we're talking about, what's an SPG?
An SPG is a specialty property group such as hunting land, fishing property, recreational properties, ranch land, horse properties, all that. We have it divided down into those different categories to help you easier to find those properties.
To do your searches. Because as we know now, pretty much the majority of all individuals looking for property are going to go to the internet first.
Correct.
And they're going to dive into it. They're going to try to do their own research. They're going to go to some sites and try to figure out where to look.
Right.
What company has the listings. So with United Country, we have unitedcountry.com, which is that site. I want you to mention, what is your website?
Our website is you can get to it two ways: www.hardtexomarealtors.com or Wichita Falls TX-realestate.com. Either way, you can get to our website on that. And then on top of that, we have UC Hunting Properties and RealTree United Country Hunting Properties.
Tell me about the UC Hunting Property site.
UC Hunting Property site, it is kind of part of the United Country. It was started by a gentleman, Travis Hamill, up in Wisconsin, and he runs that website. It's just another avenue to go and put things on. Put your listings on.
And these are $1 million plus listings.
Yes, sir.
These would be considered premier ranch properties.
Well, that's UC ranch property.
Hunting.
Yeah, these are hunting properties.
Hunting properties.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we do have a UC ranch property website, which is your premier ranch land website that is $1 million plus. That's the requirement that I'm understanding for a property to go onto there.
Right.
So that's your premier ranch land property.
Okay.
So,
and the thing people need to remember is that we have built, maintain, and operate every day over 3,000 websites.
Right.
And it's growing.
It's
growing. We've been saying 3,000 for probably 3, 4, or 5 years, and I know it's more than that now.
Right.
Because we keep adding new offices and adding new opportunities, and we also have added our United Real Estate offices, which is another 125 offices nationwide, from Beverly Hills to D.C. and Chicago to Houston and Miami, and that's a whole new group of potential buyers for rural real estate.
Absolutely.
That's the cool thing about that we have a cross-collateralization of buyers and sellers.
Yes, sir.
So even if you live in the city, we can help you with United Country Real Estate. And if you're in the country and you want to buy a place in the city, or you've got a kid going off to college and you want to buy a place in College Station or outside of Austin or outside of Houston, we can help you with that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also on the SPGs, we, as you know, have designated an individual or a team that will help all of our offices. So if you had a golf course,
right,
and you needed to sell a golf course for one of your clients, you could go to the SPG specialist and they'll work with you directly.
Yes, sir.
So it's not like you just winging it, or there's just a website out there for you to go to.
Right.
And our SPGs, they cover everything from farm and ranch and land and golf courses and commercial properties too.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I think there's I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but 30 or 40 SPGs
It's growing all the time.
It is.
I don't know what our last count is because we're always adding. But we really are, for small town America, we are, we are definitely Main Street.
Right.
We're Main Street real estate. So let's talk about a property that you and I are currently involved in.
Okay.
And that's going to be out in Haskell, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about what we're working on.
This property is called Muddy Creek Ranch. It's in between Haskell and Stanford, Texas, in Haskell County. 678 plus or minus acres. It is pretty much split right down the middle with Highway 277. So you got half on one side and half on the other. It does have 2 water taps on the east side and a possible water tap on the west side. It has electricity on both sides. It's got 3 CRP fields that used to be in a CRP program. And then it's got 2 wheat fields. It has one about 120 acres on the east side and about another 50 acres on the west side.
So if I'm living in, let's say I'm in Fort Worth, and I wanted to go look at this property, tell me how I would get there.
You can get there one of 2 ways from Fort Worth. One, you can take I-20 all the way to Abilene and then hit 277 north, and the property would be approximately an hour north of Abilene on your left and right hand side, right there just north of the roadside park. Or you can come up Highway 114 or 287 to 114 to Jacksboro, and then hit 380 all the way across to Haskell. Turn back to the left on 277. Be on about 15 minutes outside of south of Haskell.
So, if we left Fort Worth right now, how long would it take us to get out there?
It'd probably take about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Which is really nothing when you think about recreational property and you're wanting to get away.
Right.
I know a lot of folks that they drive from Dallas, Fort Worth to Mason. Down in the hill country, or they'll go out to Fort Stockton, somewhere out in there.
Yes, sir.
Or they could go as far as Alpine, but if they go that far, they probably need to move somewhere out around Alpine. The Davis Mountains. The website for that property, is it bidhuntfish.com?
Bidhuntfish.com.
So for those that are interested in this property, it's www.bidhuntfish, all one word, .com. Tell me about this property. You've been on the property quite a bit.
I have. There's 2 big tanks, approximately 5-acre tanks, or ponds, as some people call them, on the property. It does have the Muddy Creek, that's named for, running through. It is a seasonal creek, so it doesn't always have water in it. But the two 5-acre tanks did not dry up in the drought, according to the owner. So, which is a good sign because we had a really bad drought. I mean, lakes got down to 17% and everything. So, so that's a good sign that there's an abundant. It's a great flyaway for waterfowl. We have a lot of geese and ducks come through that area. Of course, you're going to have the usual deer, hogs, and turkey on there. I've seen a few quail when I've been on there. And it's just a great property with a lot of cover and a lot of potential food sources and everything. One thing is on the west side, nobody hunts around it. The east side, there's very minimal hunting on the outside of the property. So, which is good because it kind of promotes a safe haven, for animals to come over and you can get them.
Sure.
So
sure. Well, I know that you've handled this property for a while now.
Yes, sir.
It's been a listing that we've had for a while, and quite frankly, we just need to get some folks out there to see it.
We do.
We need some people to come out and see it, and
it's
take
just
a look at it.
And it's just like any property. It's gonna, all it takes is that right one person, to do, and just somebody with some imagination that's gonna do good on the land. They'll be really happy.
Well, this is and the other thing, this is an affordable piece of property.
It is.
If you're wanting to buy 678 acres of Texas recreational land,
and it comes with some minerals too with it.
They need to look at it. They really do. They just need to set an appointment with you and come out. Folks can call 800-485-8214. That's 800-485-8214. That's going to go to our office, and then we'll connect whoever's interested with you.
Yes.
And then you'll be the guy.
I'm the guy.
You are the guy.
I load up my Ranger. I can be there in an hour and a half. So just
yeah. So tell me, just the way it works for you. It makes total sense to me to be in your line of work on both sides.
Right.
How does that work for you? Does it really? It helps because you're out and about.
It does.
You can. You're literally out working as a game warden all over the place in that area, and Archer County.
Right.
But you're on the road.
I am.
And you're seeing lots and lots of property. You see lots and lots of wildlife. You're on the lakes. You're on the water. I know you do all that.
Right.
And then you're a real estate agent.
Yes, sir.
So tell me what's great about that.
The great thing, and I try to keep both of them separate, just because it's the right thing to do.
Sure.
And, just going out, I can help people answer questions, and I have hunters in the county that know I'm a real estate agent, and they'll ask me questions about properties, and like, hey, call me 2 days from now when I'm doing my real estate stuff, and we'll talk more about it.
Sure.
So it does help out, and I can see some of these places that maybe other agencies have listed or other offices have listed, and with my contacts that I've made and everything, I can send them properties and whatnot, but also just not necessarily the wildlife management of it, but I am involved with a lot of hunting and fishing, and so I can assist people in how to maybe put their blinds up and things like that, and locations on the property and help them find where hey, there's deer crossing here, or hey, this may not be a good place because this floods or something like that.
You're a consultant.
I'm a consultant.
That's what we call that. So you and I were in Hilton Head.
Yes.
Not too long ago at our National United Country Real Estate Convention, and that's kind of the highlight of the year.
It is.
And it's where all of our United Country people come together, and we have awards, and we have education, and we have exhibits, and really it's like a family reunion for a lot of us.
It is. It is.
And you and I were there, and you're wearing your RealTree United Country hunting properties.
I am.
So, and you and I were together about that time.
Right.
I think we actually took a picture together.
I think we did.
With the RealTree team. So why don't you tell us about the RealTree relationship?
The RealTree relationship is United Country is now strategic partners with RealTree in the marketing of our hunting properties. So is now RealTree United Country Hunting Properties is our SPG. And it's a wonderful thing. We have a whole website. It's realtreeuc.com. Very simple. You can see any hunting property that is listed by any United Country on that website. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have the brand. A lot of it is there's another camouflage brand out there. We're not going to mention their names that has a real estate agency, but I think our RealTree is going to knock them out of the water.
Yeah. I actually was on a conference call with our executive team and also our field team today, the management and just the different division managers and folks that are in the field. And the numbers, the sheer numbers of the response on the internet and the shows that are going on, they have these great hunting shows. The numbers are outstanding. I mean, it is going to be, if it isn't already, the RealTree United Country relationship is unlike anything that's come out. I think we surprised a lot of people.
I think we did. I think even the RealTree guys were shocked at how many of us signed up at convention. Mm-hmm. And everything.
And what is the designation that you have now?
The designation is RealTree LandPro.
Mm-hmm. And a RealTree LandPro designates that you are a specialist in land, hunting, fishing, property.
Yes, sir.
Any type of land, but specifically
recreational and hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you and I signed up that day.
We did,
and we're real proud of that relationship with RealTree.
I'm just I'm very tickled about it. I mean, I got home and.
I think you may be the first. Literally, you may have been the very first person that branded yourself. I'm telling you, it was amazing because it seemed like it was hours. I mean, I looked up, and you've got RealTree everywhere.
I did.
It was fast.
I did. I was on Facebook. I was throwing that on Facebook, everything. And as soon as I got back from North Carolina, one of my deputies has a sign printing deal, and he made a decal for the back of my tailgate of my truck, and he does the embroidery. He's the one who did these shirts, and I mean, I went down to the academy and bought like 3 or 4 shirts and had them put on there. So yeah, I was ready to go.
You went whole hog.
I did. Well, I believe in it, and anything, if you put RealTree hunting and United Country together, it's going to be a good thing. So
yeah. Well, the camouflage brand is fantastic, but the other thing is just the RealTree team.
Right.
I mean, they're the real deal.
Yes, sir.
They're not playing. No. When we made that announcement at the convention, and they came out on stage and they gave their presentation, and then we saw the metrics of just the coverage that they have from a promotional standpoint, from a retail standpoint, from online, just social media. When you look at how many branding opportunities there are with RealTree, it eclipses a lot of companies.
It does.
A lot of companies that you would think would have a bigger presence.
Right. It does.
So,
and in fact, I'm on the Ducks Unlimited committee, and as you know, we're United Country strategic partners with Ducks Unlimited. I'm on our local committee there, and I've insisted that we only buy RealTree camouflage hats for our Ducks Unlimited stuff. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyways,
that's good.
That way we can keep all those partnerships together. So.
Yeah. As you know, I'm huge with Ducks Unlimited.
Yes.
And do their national auction in Wall Street and Washington D.C. and I'm highly invested in Ducks Unlimited. We've done a lot of training to help them do better with their fundraising opportunities, right. and so that's a great relationship. We've had that relationship for over 10 years now. So
yes, sir.
We continue to push it. Of course, United Country as a company, the way our mission and our vision is, we are very proactive when it comes to the wetlands. Very proactive in conservation, game management, and all the things that you care about
right.
in your day-to-day work. That it just kind of the fingers just fit together.
Yes,
it's just a good fit. That's good, and I will repeat this information about this property outside of Haskell. How far is it from Haskell?
It's approximately 15 minutes south of Haskell.
So you're 15 minutes from bread, milk.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever you need.
Whatever you need.
Whatever you think.
And
you're
about 10 minutes north of Stanford, which also has grocery stores, and I think even Stanford may have a Walmart. So,
I'm sure it does.
I mean, that's important to some people, is not getting too far away from Walmart.
Yeah, don't want to get too far from Walmart.
Right.
I think you have. I know you have other properties. I know your mom has lots of properties down in Big Spring, and your wife is working on a lot of stuff up in Wichita Falls. But you specifically, I know you have other properties. Why don't you tell us about another property?
Another property I have is in Archer County. It's just about 5 miles west of Archer City on Highway 25. It's 166 acres, high fenced. It is currently being used as a deer breeding facility, and does come with exotics on the property. It's going to have Audad and Axis, and of course, if you want some other different exotics, they'll be willing to put them on there for you. And you can also turn the deer breeding facility into an exotic breeding facility if that's the way you choose, or even the seller's son even said he would pull out all the fencing if you didn't want the facility there. Mm-hmm. It has 3 houses on it. It has a 1,400 square foot main house, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. It has a 1,000 square foot lodge. That's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. And then it has another 1,000 square foot lodge. That's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And then it has a big walk-in cooler on the property. So it is, and it's an income producing property. She leases out the 2 lodges during hunting season for hunters to stay that hunt on different places around Archer County. So it'd be a good place for, have a big family or whatever your desire is.
Why don't you tell them where they can go to look at it online?
Okay.
It's just kind of a repeat from earlier,
Right.
but let's do that.
You can go several places, RealTreeUC.com and www.heartoftexomarealtors.com.
And do you have a phone number for that office, or where
I
if
do.
somebody wants to talk to you?
Our phone number is 940-234-4444. That is our office number, and my cell number is 432-270-7092. And of course, you can also message us on Facebook, both my personal realtor page and our office United Country Heart of Texoma Facebook page. You can message us through that also.
Okay, I know that you've been very, very proactive in being a part of United Country Real Estate, which of course I'm very happy about.
Right.
You have won an award or two. So
I have.
What have you won?
I've won 2 Pinnacle Awards, which is gross sales over $1 million. Won one in 2008, or for the year 2008, and one for 2016.
And I know you have you been a member of the Permian Basin Board?
Yes, I was a member of the Permian Basin Board of Realtors, which I received the Rookie of the Year award in 2008, and also the Texas Association of Realtors Strike Force Award. That's from their Political Action Committee. I was very involved in the Governmental Affairs Committee. Now I'm in the Wichita Falls Association of Realtors. I'm the chair of the Governmental Affairs Committee there, and been serving as that for the last 2 years, and already going to be it for next year also. So, and then Cheyenne, my wife, she's going to be the vice president of the board this next year.
Very good. Well, we like people to be very proactive in their communities.
Yes.
And because we know innately that is a key to success.
Right.
If you're out there, you're meeting people, you're networking, you're meeting buyers, you're meeting sellers, it just increases your exposure, but also it shows that you're a good person. It's not
Right.
It's not all about taking. You have to, because let me tell you, being active and being a giver, you sacrifice other things. You're somewhere working for other people when there's people out there who just think it should come to them,
Right.
and that's just not the way it works. Now,
Yes, sir.
Now I understand that you just had the Hotter Than Hell 100. Is that right?
We did. We had the Hotter Than Hell 100. It was I can't remember exactly how many years it's been going on. It's been going on a
Long
while.
time.
And Cheyenne, she rode her, I believe it's her 6th Hotter Than Hell. Rode 100 miles again. Set a new personal record for herself, 5 hours and 30 minutes.
So where does it start?
It starts there in Wichita Falls and ends in Wichita Falls.
What's the route?
It goes out towards Iowa Park and Electra, and then north of Electra all the way over to Burt Burnett, and then over towards Charlie Thornberry, and right before you get to about Petrolia, it cuts back down and starts to Dean, and then goes back into Wichita Falls.
Let me tell you something. If you're going to ride a bicycle, what was the temperature?
Actually, Saturday it was really nice and cool. So I think the whole time it was 85 degrees with no wind,
Which never happens.
I think the year before, last year, it was about 106 with about a 30-mile-an-hour south wind.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they can be grateful. They can
Yes.
be grateful because we are in that 100 plus period right now. We have been for about 2-3 weeks now, and I think we're getting close. We probably have another week of those opportunities,
Right.
and then it's going to be gone. But if you can get an 85 or 90 degree weather during the Hotter Than Hell 100 at Wichita Falls,
yeah.
and it's a very well known bike event.
It is.
But it's brutal.
It is.
Usually
That's
brutal.
why it's called Hotter Than Hell.
So I want to reiterate a couple of things. So we've got the Muddy Creek Ranch outside of Haskell, Texas, 678 acres.
Correct.
Now I will tell you, and you may have mentioned it earlier, I'm not sure, but we can offer that in 2 tracks. Is that right?
We can. The owner is willing to divide that into 2 tracks. And also the minerals that come with it are 1/3 of a quarter.
Okay.
And all wind and solar rights do come with the property.
Well, and that's significant today. It may not be to someone today, but having those down the road, it's always good to have.
Well, and wife and I went to New Mexico this summer, and on the way there, over in Childress, Texas, they're putting in a huge solar array.
Sure.
There.
Yeah.
And so the solar rights are getting more prevalent in what we're doing. Wind's kind of going away, and now it's solar.
Yeah.
And so,
well, they're creating a lot of different kinds of grids.
Right.
And as much as I fly, this last week I was over. I flew up to Omaha and had to go to Lincoln, and I'm always looking out the window.
Right.
I'm not the guy that does a lot of sleeping. I'm the guy that's looking out and looking at the land and looking at the water and looking at the turbines and just kind of looking, kind of getting a view. Because it's so different, from when I was a kid. You literally saw nothing forever. If you drove to El Paso, you're not going to see anything but some hills every once in a while. But now you see a lot of these different types of energy sources, and this is going to be the norm for the future.
It is.
People might as well get used to it. And it's not going away.
It's not going away.
Genie's out of the bottle. We've got electric cars. Get ready. Right. So we can offer it in 2 tracks, and then we also have hunting on both sides. You've got access to a highway and you've got access to a town. So it really kind of offers a little bit of everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay. Well, Richard, I think we've talked about a lot of stuff. I hope that people enjoyed getting to meet you as a United Country office and being a part of it, being a part of our system.
Yes, sir.
And we're proud to have you as part of the United Country family.
Proud to be here too, Mike.
Thank you for making the 2-hour drive from Wichita Falls. And so, on behalf of everyone here in Dallas that's a part of this, Travis, thank you for producing the show. And from Dallas, Texas, at Lincoln Center, at the corner of LBJ and the North Dallas Tollway, we thank you very much for joining us this week with Richard Key from Wichita Falls, and we'll see you next time on the Mike McGavel Jones Show. Take care, God bless, and we bid you adieu from Dallas.